What's the downside?
We'll talk about that later as we're getting into our next set here. CharChar instead of the Beelzebub bringing in the Wilnas and Z-OUND here with the Vane. And this is actually really cool too because I was about to talk about these two characters. Wilnas feels like a character that is so straightforward, so honest with what he wants to do, and it's been a while since we've seen that from a DLC character outside of Vane, I'd argue, except Wilnas is even more so just absolutely oppressive, does not want to be playing your game plan, always wants to be playing his own game, especially compounded with the fact that he doesn't have access to regular dash normals and he has special cancels instead of triple attacks.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that last part, because while I agree that the fundamental game plan is very straightforward, he's playing a bit of a different game, right? The way his dash works, the lack of normal Rekkas, instead having those special cancels, which, again, following with the patch methodology, terrifying in the corner, it does force you to learn some new things if you're going to get off the ground with it.
Right, and I think this character completely recontextualizes dash moves, I think. And the reason why I think that is because, you know, instead of just being a, hey, I'm going to be plus in your face, instead it's giving him extra evasiveness from that mid-range space, where that dash L provides him some upper body invincibility, gets rid of projectiles, dash M, low crushes. So adds a little more utility to these moves by also stripping away, you know, the extra, I guess, advancing quality to them, if that makes sense.
Though speaking of advancing qualities, you know what he does have is that volcanic knee, that Hadron smash. We've already seen both of them coming out. Ooh, but great reverses from Z-OUND. Setting up that shield, so hard to deal with, but you know who can deal with it? It's Wilnas. He's gonna power through your defense. He doesn't care if you've got hits of armor. He's gonna break it anyway.
King, you coming in through, right? Again, we're not going to worry about those shields, but you gotta worry about the fact that your super got blocked as Z-OUND steals that first round away.
Battle 2.
Another thing that Z-OUND is going to have to worry about with this Wilnas, for those who aren't aware, he's got some pretty scary high-low mix with Lava Swipe and Flame Claw. If he uses the medium version, it's pretty much the same timing, so you can't fuzzy that. You just have to hold his plus frames, guess the 50-50, and hope you survive.
Z-OUND not wanting to worry about that there, finding a way out there with that reversal, but unfortunately going to be eating that super. Here we go. Wilnas going to be getting his first round here in game number 1.
I've just got one question for all the Wilnas members. What is he looking at? When he's just standing there, where is he looking? He's not looking at Vane. He's looking off into the distance or farming something, and I need to know what it is.
Okay, you ever heard of the advice someone gives you when you first start driving? You know, the way to keep straight on the road is not to look directly in front of you on the road, but instead to look
He's looking ahead.
Right, exactly. He's looking ahead to keep himself straight so he can hit those volcanic knees in your face.
Bro is looking to the future, and the future involves a knee of justice. Call my man Captain Falcon, and right when you thought that was what was coming, he's gonna throw you into the dirt. Because we've got Galleon, who's, you know, still pretty fresh on the block. I think this character's pretty cool. What about you?
I think she's really cool as well. I particularly like how fighting games nowadays tend to have some interesting, unique takes on grapplers, and I think she's a really good example where she can have a really strong full screen presence, but at the same time, if she doesn't have that, then she kind of just falls into the same pitfalls that grapplers tend to have, especially when it comes to her combo conversions, when it comes to her light normals, like dash L not quite always comboing with her 5L and stuff like that.
Yeah, you're up against Katalina, who can make it a little bit annoying for you to get that game plan started in the mid-range. We'll have to see what happens there in the long term, though, but in the short term, did do a good job. Wing, that is, doing a good job getting in early, getting that set up as well, and immediately the Fist of Justice coming out.
And this is one of the really scary things about Galleon, is just how much damage she does off her Raz being a grappler and all. But also, too, is that if you choose to block her, there's always the threat of a command grab off of every single one of her buttons, because her command grabs are just so slow and so active enough that they can still, they're basically perfectly timed on cancels.
One thing that I think we're going to see a lot of in this match is the power of the corner. Both of these characters are set up in a way where the defense isn't as good as the offense. Galleon especially is going to struggle to get out of this corner against Katalina, who is built for this kind of pressure, but finds the opening, a good confirm to get back to mid-screen.
Yeah, and that's exactly where you want to be here as Galleon, especially with that anti-air pushing Adele a little bit further away. And now that's going to be a nice conversion that's going to bring us all the way to that corner, that scary position we've been alluding to here. And now Adele using the dash out, getting ourselves out. Good.
Yeah, we saw a little bit of the Supremacy coming out. Supremacy didn't do a lot in that situation, but it's just a reminder to Katalina, like, don't you dare go for a throw to get out of the corner. I've got setups for that, but honestly, the way things are going, I'm getting a little bit scared for Wing. Doesn't have any BP left. The damage could be mounting if Katalina can get the opening, but cannot.
There we go. Wing off to a fantastic start there. 2 rounds in a row. Despite being down in those Brave counters, still looked pretty strong towards the end. And now we're going to go here into game number 2. Let's see if things change.
Wing is really leaning into the best defense is a good offense here. And that's sort of the nature of a grappler in some ways. You can see already got the setups going again. This time you've still got all your BP to work with, which is good because now you are struggling a little bit. Adele cannot find the big conversions. It's all little stuff. And as soon as you get in the corner, just punching their way out quite literally with that Will of the Earth.
I love how confident Wing is to playing defense here. We were talking about how Galleon can struggle on defense, but you know, you have to start representing these buttons if you don't want to be put into these situations in the first place. And the fact that we're constantly punishing Adele for all these risky actions here in mid-screen is really starting to pay off. It's also a lot of small packet damage for Wing as well in that regard, but at the same time, it's a lot of damage starting to add up because we're consistently getting these punishes.
Well, this is Adele's last chance. Immediately, that Will of the Earth. Some hard reads starting to come out from Wing, and those reads are working. Set up again with the Meteorite, and this early combo forces you back into the corner. So much pressure. Do you dare swing out the throw break?
Yeah, that was a perfect position to be in for Adele right there, getting those plus frames, but still stuck in the corner and getting hit by the boulder. Wing is going to be able to get a lot of damage off this confirm. Going to be building up 100 mirror to use here for the next combo potentially, or just spend that 50 mirror trying to keep Adele locked in the corner, but Adele, no dice. There's the dash L, finding our way out once again, perfectly using these dash moves to get ourselves out of these risky situations, but at the same time, it really just comes back down here to mid-screen where Wing is still controlling it incredibly well, and unfortunately Adele is not able to really scrounge up much of an advantage in that regard.
Good catch there from Wing to close it out. Adele just could not find the openings. Like we saw even in the neutral, you were pointing it out.
Overall buffed, and a lot of it just really came down to increased damage, less resources spent, less frames, less starter frames or recovery frames. And that's really what 2B got right there, was a lot of less recovery frames and a good amount less meter being spent. Like you said, using 2 bars instead of 3 bars. That's going to be very important, especially with those specials being used so much in neutral.
But it looks like we've got the best thing possible. We've got my goat Vikala on the screen. I love this character so much.
Now, unfortunately, unlike 2B, Vikala did not really get many changes with this new patch. But
trust, it's coming.
Still a very cool character, and hopefully, you know, we're hoping some copium. We'll see if this this character can start making the come up here.
Y'all just wait. Vikala patch 2.3. This is going to be the one for us. It is so over for y'all. We talked about set play characters. The moment they make this character good, y'all are going to be cooked. You're not ready.
Dude, people already hate playing against this character. I see the general consensus just being this character is kind of annoying to play against, even if they don't think she's very good. So at least she has that going towards her. And right now, we are doing exactly that, as Scout is just being very annoying here in neutral, just consistently stuffing Ladewaybac's approaches and just doing so much small packet damage until we're finally cashing out here with this big combo into the SBA, stealing a bravery point away from Ladewaybac. So we're only going to be having 2 left over, and that's not going to be a lot here when we have so little health left.
I love a good old-fashioned annoying character. Make my dreams come true, Vikala. Off to a great start. Good spot dodge there to try to get out of that situation, but the whiffs in neutral are not going to work because Vikala's got range too.
Absolutely, and already we're stuffing that approach early on. Great spot dodge to avoid the chain. Now here we are in this excellent corner position.
Being so scary as well with little things like setting up that bear trap to create that space control that the character is known for, get 2B to jump, and then you play that anti-air game with all of those great options that you have at that range.
Yeah, but at the same time, we were just talking about how scary 2B can be when she is in the air. So anti-airing her is not as easy as it may seem, especially as we saw right there, trying to preemptively load up a Brave counter in response to Ladewaybac's attempt to go for that air button. But that stall really just threw Scout off completely.
Yep, it's exactly what you were talking about just a second ago. Her ability to stall with Pod in the air. That time did not go for the light setup, but that's a mix-up in and of itself. Good anti-air attempt there from Scout. Not able to get too much started, but is slowly pushing Ladewaybac into the corner.
And one of the really excellent things I'm seeing in Scout's play is how we're consistently checking these lasers from Ladewaybac or these chains as well. One of the best ways for 2B to approach from full screen is using either of those options, and Scout is perfectly using these full screen options of their own to just completely stuff it, interrupt it, and look at this. Scout is in a winning position because of it, as now we have Ladewaybac in the corner taking all this damage from this super, and with so little health left, there's not really a lot you can do as chip damage on the horizon, but we don't have to worry about that as Scout finds that final hit to secure the game.
Such a tough position to find yourself into, but I want to talk about real quick how we got to that spot. I'm really impressed with Scout's usage of rodent rhythm. Yeah, there you go, right there. Just finding the right times in neutral. Unfortunately, that time around did not find it, which gave Ladewaybac the opportunity to get their corner pressure going. I think it's going to be more the same. Whoever can get that corner pressure first is going to thrive. Do we need a pod stall on the Oki? Let's find out.
We'll see. Instead, we're going to be staying grounded. Go for the 5U, roll away. Scout not biting. Brave counter from Ladewaybac, bringing us to mid-screen. Tech from Scout coming in, but Ladewaybac immediately starting that pressure back up.
Grandma's Teeth coming out with a vengeance, set up the cannon as well. But again, Ladewaybac is starting to figure out the timing. This is that top player difference. There's a reason my man was in top 8 last week, why he's in top 8 anytime he enters this tournament, because he has the adaptation.
Yeah, and this is really tricky too, because like when we're in situations like right here, when you see those techs, while it technically is even for both these players, it is a advantageous position for Ladewaybac because his buttons out are far superior to what Vikala can put out at that range, especially with like the 5H, the 5N. And you're seeing it right here as Ladewaybac has Scout in the corner, and we were talking about earlier, whoever kind of gets the corner first is the one who kind of runs away with the match, but Scout doing a good job at actually escaping that corner and sending Ladewaybac here to that low screen range.
It's a critical Oki there, just goes for the setup with the cannons, trying to make Ladewaybac do something unsafe. This is that pressure. Instead, Ladewaybac managed to get out the side swap, critical in that scenario. You're out of the corner, and not only that, you've turned it around, putting Scout in the corner, using that super as well. One more opportunity to get back into this game number 2.
Yeah, and this is massive. Scout going to be using the Super Skybat Arc. I don't think that will connect. The spot does Ladewaybac in reaction, and that is going to be that game. Going to Ladewaybac, tying us up to a 1-1.
Battle 1.
I like the idea. You had to press a button, you had to try something, but Ladewaybac was a step ahead. The home run contest coming out there gets stuffed out. That is another thing worth noting that is different on this patch. Going for that move, you've got a timing mix-up now that you didn't used to, hitting that projectile. It can bounce and then you can hit it.
All right, here we go. Ladewaybac bringing us all the way to the corner. One of 2B's strongest, greatest strengths is being able to bring you to the corner with really any hit on the screen, and that's exactly what Ladewaybac did, though being pushed back here to mid-screen, respecting Scout's pressure. Gravity hole set up. That's going to be a Brave counter spend from Scout.
Yeah, that's just a BP ATM right there. There's certain situations where you've just got to use it to get them off you. The risk reward is not worth it otherwise. However, get off Ladewaybac will not. Instead, creating another corner situation, but Scout swings out. I can't believe you found that little check in the pressure string of Ladewaybac. There was a tiny little gap there. Scout found an opening.
Oh, unfortunate throw whiff where Scout as Ladewaybac might just run away with the game from that alone. The Raging Chain bringing us to the corner, going to be recovering some gauge along with it as well. Throw buying us a little bit more time, going for the aerial mix-up, but Scout getting a nice anti-air to push Ladewaybac away and get a back throw to bring us into an advantageous position. Sends out the Raz, trying to keep control of Ladewaybac in the corner. And I love that part of play from Scout there is just preemptively stuffing Ladewaybac's attempts to try and jump out of the corner just because we know how strong 2B can be in the air.
Man, we're at round 2 pools, and we're already looking at a last round scenario. Ladewaybac with the early advantage, but from what we've seen, I can already tell you that doesn't mean a whole lot. It's all about those corner resets. Speaking of resets, a scary little air tech scenario there. Of course, you can't do the grab on landing, but it does give Scout a chance to fight back.
Nice conversion right there. Unfortunately, not able to find that final hit. And now Ladewaybac will be running away with it with that whip punish. The chain bringing us to the other side of the screen. And that is insane scaling here for Ladewaybac, stripping Scout of their last bravery point.
It's not over till it's over, but it might be looking a little over. Having no BP to get out of this situation, you can't BC this. You're stuck, you're locked down. The rodents are not enough to save you as Ladewaybac goes in, but again, Scout presses a button, and again, Ladewaybac knows, gets the spot dodge, and converts it into a second game. Have the long-range zoners, he's got long-range closing options, and so he was using those to outspace Vane. But now we are looking at a little bit of zoning as Cagliostro, the set play extraordinaire, coming up against Narmaya.
Yeah, Narmaya, much more traditional zoner here, definitely has her own mix-ups, her own combo game right here, but for the most of the time here in these matches, you're just going to be seeing her poke at the max range of her normals, of her specials. And a great combo here from Yozamitsu to push SheepIRL into the corner immediately here. Half health down, but we're starting to chew down Sheep's health just a little bit. Nice combo once again. Should be able to cash out here with the super and get the kill.
So I think no surprise here that Yoza is opting, and you are correct, does get the kill, opting for traditional Narmaya. I don't think that traditional Narmaya players are really the target audience for the EX. I think they're gonna stick with this character if they've felt the comfort, if they've been able to make it work. They want those additional moves. Cagliostro, on the other hand, doesn't get that option, but what she does have is some pretty scary setups if she can get started, which Yoza has just not been allowing.
That's true, but we might be getting started right now, as now we have Yozamitsu with their back up against the wall. Let's see, tossing out the rock. Hasn't set up any of the traps just yet, but now that we got a proper knockdown, that's exactly what we're going to be doing. And I like how Yozamitsu, like you were saying, is not letting Sheep have the opportunity to set up these traps for long periods of time, as we're immediately calling attention to them with our normals, with our dash attacks.
Yeah, this is such an interesting way that this is going on. Sheep is sort of just poking at Yoza. Since you can't get those setups, since there's not time, it's punishing the attempts to close out of the corner and then reacting just like that. Yoza finally goes into the sky, and as soon as you do, show him the throne.
Great start here for Yozamitsu in round number 3, but a perfectly timed throw will place Yozamitsu into the corner yet again. Yozamitsu always just playing so aggressive on defense. That's exactly what you want to do. You don't want to let Cagliostro have an opportunity to get set up, but it's going to come whether you like it or not, especially when she gets a combo on you. But when she does get that set play set up, she unfortunately is not able to find an opening on Yozamitsu with it all on the screen. However, that one was definitely an outlier.
That far heavy is putting in work for Sheep. The number of those that have converted into corner pressure in this set already has been monumental. And immediately, yep, comes out again. And then in the aftermath, you're -1 on hit, -5 on block. You still, at that spacing, got pretty good opportunities to punish Yoza for trying to press a button and for trying to punish you.
Teleport away, but Yozamitsu still finding a hit there on Sheep. Just off space, get some time to set up the rock. Open up with the overhead. That's going to be a lot of damage here for Yozamitsu.
finally we've got that rock online. It's about time Collapse made an appearance and actually stayed on screen for more than 2 seconds. Not really as useful in this matchup as a lot of others because there's no projectiles to deal with. Ooh! Oh, you pressed a button.
Oh, that still beat it.
It doesn't matter. Sheep is ready for it. However, Sheep in a bit of a bad spot here. One big conversion will do it, and there you go. That should be enough. Sure enough, Yoza on the board.
Looking to tie up this set count here to a 1-1. Yozamitsu still a game down, but looking much better here with that last round, and looking a lot better here with this round 2, already taking that bravery point from Sheep. And that is a fantastic anti-air being used from Yozamitsu to lock Sheep back into the corner. Where do you think you're going?
Bro, I love a good old-fashioned double sets in a combo. It's so flashy. Yoza has turned this around. The corner pressure. Finally, Sheep got a chance, but the moment she did, it's back and forth. And now that far heavy comes out again. Who is going to win the Oki setup here?
Looks like Sheep is the one that's doing exactly that. DP though from Yozamitsu, finding our way out. Bravery counters being spent. Super, will this land?
Again.
Oh,
just DP's
Brave counter back into the corner. Yozamitsu has so many bravery points to spend, and finally one last Hail Mary with that overhead brings us to a 1-1 in this set.
The punish on the BC attempt there, not gonna work out for Sheep, who tries to make a timing mix up there. Yoza just waited it out, was not in a position where they felt threatened, like they had to do something. Back in the corner with you, Sheep has been starting to struggle in these situations.
Starting to struggle a lot more on defense, and that's going to be the super to make this defense game just a little bit harder. Sheep now stuck in the corner, gets opened up by that overhead, but that's going to be a big hit right there as we try to bravery counter, but you know what? Let's get that Raging Chain instead.
Yeah, this is your chance. We see Calculated coming out. That has been putting in work. Yoza likes to press buttons, likes to punish that whiff lag, but sometimes Sheep is finding ways to be preemptive, to set up these situations in the corner. One more opportunity in neutral. You side swap, but you've got the pressure advantage. Great mix. And great conversion.
Final game, final round potentially. We will see. Sheep on set point. There's the block. Good block and that overhead as well.
There. Yeah, both players playing defense very well there, spacing well as the teleport just to get out of there. Collapse is going to come out, but gets punished for doing so. Yoza is all over Sheep. Finally, we see the left side of the screen. For those of you who thought it wasn't real, double Setsuna into Oki in just a second here. One more chance to even this up.
Oh, there's the throw.
Ooh, great throw.
We might just do exactly
Great
that.
timing as
50
well.
meter to get those plus frames. And we're still maintaining really strong control of this corner, using the max range of our normals, outspacing the reversal as well. Sheep trying to make one last attempt with this round, but no, that's going to be the perfect. And Yozamitsu times another perfect DP to even us up to a final game, final round here as we're trying to qualify into top 16. And Yozamitsu right now drawing that first blood.
Yeah, immediately spending those resources. The double EX. Continuing the pressure, gets the throw bait there, but no punish. Sheep gets out. Great get off me. Back into the neutral, and actually a bit of an Oki setup cross up as well. Yoza is all over Sheep right now. Into the corner with you. Finally, far heavy converts. Can you do enough? Can you break back into this? You are running out of time. You are running out of BP.
Also running out of resources. Cagliostro being a very resource-heavy character does get that 50 meter. We'll see what we can do with it, and that DP just barely reaching. Yozamitsu, Sheep looking at even health, but Sheep tries to confirm, having that one last bravery point for the Raging Strike into the Raging Chain, just enough with that 25 meter, and that is going to be the win going to Sheep. Well deserved. Goals against characters that force her to get in, and that's kind of what we saw a lot of in that set.
And it looks like we got Wilnas coming back to the screen. I'm so happy that people are playing this character already. Of course, we've got nothing versus Havaniceday. Let's see how this goes.
Nothing representing the Wilnas and already showing how scary this character is. That was hardly any hits in that combo, and look how much damage it did. Have a nice day already on their on half health. and trying to spend these resources to keep Nothing at bay. But it's so hard doing exactly that because we were talking about before about how easily Nothing can just close distances so fast with that volcanic. That burst movement is the name of the game.
Yes, burst movement is so critical with a character like this. And not only that, but getting your burst movement right and creating the advantageous situations that you're setting up for consistently. Because it is that high-low mix, it is that plus frame pressure. But if your opponent beats you on the defense, it all shuts down, and all of a sudden, they're in on you as a character who's not very good at getting people off of you.
Right, we are seeing Havaniceday using his bravery points, trying to get Nothing off him as we're just slowly but surely advancing from the other side of the screen. Havaniceday, though, being very annoying, really utilizing all of their tools to their advantage. And I like how not only were we setting out the bros, but we're also weaving in these dash moves every now and then to throw off that timing from Nothing.
I feel like that whole round was just Havaniceday recognizing that Nothing is going to press buttons immediately as soon as he can at all times. So if I just preempt sending out the bros, starting up my normals, I can stuff out the approaches before they're a problem.
That bravery point gets blocked by Nothing. Havaniceday, one bravery point left, using the super as a way to try and get out of this corner position. At least that's one of the good things about Lowain in terms of his toolkit, is that he can just spend that super and immediately get out if he wants to.
I do like the attempt at a roll against it. I feel like you don't see that very often.
Raging Chain. Should be enough. Yeah, there we go. Spends 2 Raging Chains.
Double down?
That round.
You know what they say, when in doubt, double down. Gotta make sure he can do it. Havaniceday taking game number 1, looking pretty strong. Managing to use things like you mentioned, that super to get out of the corner. That is a little bit scary for Wilnas because he spends so much time trying to get you there. If you can just Ex Machina your way back into the neutral and he has to do it twice, suddenly he starts to run out of options quick.
Stuck here in the corner and Neely pressing a button, trying to get out of that situation. Does not want to hold anything. Nothing really encapsulating Wilnas as a character, but unfortunately it's not working as Havaniceday just a few steps ahead with Lowain.
Best combo in the game right there. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, once again, immediately pressing that button, Havaniceday.
Catpod just getting eviscerated as well. Imagine spawning in. This is like some Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Spawns in just to explode.
Battle 2.
Battle 2, engage. Here we go. Set point here for Havaniceday. And Nothing using all their special moves to get in on Havanice's face.
We're seeing those mix-ups. Went low, then went high, then went low, then went for the grab. These are the kinds of mix-ups that make it so hard for Havaniceday outside of that super to get out of the corner because he's got so many different ways of mixing you up, and when he gets the hit, he does so much damage.
And I like too how Nothing was how Nothing chose to set up that jump situation as well. Instead of going for an air button, going for a grounded button, instead we're just waiting out that bravery counter because, like, you know what? Like, hey, he's definitely going to want to bravery counter at any point necessary, and you want to make him spend those resources while staying in the corner. Need perfectly timed super though, so that's going to be pushing Nothing back into the corner, stealing another bravery point away from him. Now we're just going to be running away from these step dashes.
Havaniceday throwing everything in the kitchen sink at this. We got the bros, we got the Catbot, but Nothing is not backing down. Again, the moment my end lag is over, I'm pressing a button, and there's nothing you can do about it. Get off me. I don't care if I have no points left because I am getting in. Finally, Havaniceday manages to take his turn, but this is so scary for whoever gets hit next.
And Nothing now in a very commanding position. Havaniceday, no bravery points left. Good poke out with that bar L though, and using the bros as well to push Nothing a little further away. Bros once again not able to get a combo there. Nothing on their last pixel, but unfortunately not able to win the game with it. Havaniceday closing it out.
Most annoying characters.
I don't know why, but you know, it's just what it is.
They'd be too powerful otherwise. If you had cool people playing cool characters, we'd get nothing done. But speaking of cool characters, we got Galleon back on the screen. Wing is back up and up against Dragalia's Narmaya this time around.
And already Wing off to fantastic start here. Has Dragalia locked in the corner, has the zone set up, but Dragalia finding their way out. Throw from Wing, going to be being that, beating that option from Dragalia. Now Wing stuck in the corner, but the zone's still active. Go.
As well. Don't even need an ultimate to skip that timer. You can just throw those out in neutral. Speaking of throwing things out in neutral, what a dash up from Wing. Okay.
Battle 2. Engage.
That's going to be the first round. Going to Wing, looking really good. Dragalia trying their best to get that advantage state of their own here, but Wing doing such a good job, and we saw this in the Katalina matchup earlier, but just doing such a good job at just checking the opponent with simple buttons like far L. Like, the usage of far L from Wing has been unparalleled.
Yeah, absolutely. The way that Wing has been able to get out of the corner, a character who is not very good at getting out of the corner. Dragalia making him work for it as well with those Setsunas, with those flips just like that. But Wing is out spacing. That said, is slowly getting pushed back into that scary range, and you're only going to be able to guess right so many times before Dragalia gets a corner combo.
What an anti-air!
Speaking of guessing right.
No way this kills. Okay, no it doesn't. I was like, okay, the combo ends right there, but Wing still in a commanding position. One more hit, and it is game. No more bravery points though, so this might be game here for Dragalia, as we're able to just go for that Hail Mary raging strike, and it landed in Wing's face.
Wow, way to find that. Hey, Wing got the right reads, but spent a lot of resources to get there. That's the downside. That's the risk reward. Wasn't able to quite close it out. Needed one more Oki setup to go right. The question will be, do we adapt? Do we use fewer BP, or is it just a matter of, well, I gotta guess right more often?
That was just perfect spacing after that post-tech situation. Just setting Dragalia back into that zone, and then forcing the pressure from that boulder as Dragalia is finding every single opportunity to try and escape from that position. 2L, 2L, unfortunately, even on counter hit, not able to combo off of, but we should be able to combo off of this hit, as we do have some mirror to cash out on it. That hard knockdown.
The meteorite is set up. I don't think we're going to be able to get to use it here, because holy damage, Batman. And just when you thought it was over, nope, we've got a little bit more left. Over half your health bar gone. Just like that, Dragalia with the conversions.
I was so ready to keep commentating Wing after the match, saying like, Wing, you know, on their final ropes, but Dragalia is still killing with that combo. That actually kind of surprised me. I know Narmaya can do a lot of damage, especially when you still have them grounded, so you don't have that combo limit being incorporated, but man, I was still surprised by that.
And we've got another one going on here. Finally, that air recovery going to save Wing. But the problem is you're still stuck in the corner. You're still playing against these flip setups. You will not command grab me. Finally finds the answer, gets out, but look how much health was spent in the process.
Dude, we just keep on doing it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And that was the name of the game for that round. Dragalia now on set point over Wing. Let's hope to see if anything can change. Wing might have to start being more cognizant of that flip setup, but even then, Dragalia might start to mix things up to throw Wing off guard. Here we go. What's that situation going to be? Going for the flip setup once again. This time, Wing going to block it, get that bravery point to push Dragalia back into mid-screen, and going to be cashing out on that zone with that boulder confirmed.
Dragalia has definitely realized that Wing is struggling to find answers to that flip, and all of a sudden it is coming out over and over and over. Wing's got an opportunity, setting up in the corner. This is the win condition. Even little things like resetting with that meteorite, getting your plus frame started, does not get the hit though because of the cross-up.
Perfect 2L from Wing. Fortunately, going to take that hit. That's 9mm not to kill, but this hit surely will. And Dragalia, if we can finish this combo, yes, we will. Keep it simple, keep it clean. Skybound art coming through. Dragalia takes it over Wing with a 2-0.
Reason some of them are EVO winners, because they're such grinders, because they're always going onto these online brackets, being in the era of good netcode, getting to play in national level tournaments every week for your game is unprecedented. So it's no wonder that these brackets are always so big. We got 62 people and so many heavy hitters amongst those just in this bracket on a Saturday afternoon where people have got stuff going on and they're still here. They're still grinding, and we are finally starting top 8. We've got 2 fan favorite, common, popular characters on the screen, the Cag versus the Lowain. Let's see who takes it in the first round.
One more controversial than the other, but certainly that brings his own flavor of fun. Have a nice day. Coming back on the stage with the Lowain here versus Prada, one of the best Cagliostros we have here in North America. And immediately Prada is going to be locking Have a Nice Day into the corner and was able to set up some of the traps, but Have a Nice Day showing how evasive Lowain can be. Distracts himself, though in the mid-screen is still a problem with these teleports that Prada can use.
As Minty is pointing out in the chat, reminder y'all, this is going to be 3 out of 5. All of top 8 is 3 out of 5s here for Granblue. So the adaptation that we've been talking about all night, all these games that have gone to last hit where we've seen it swing one way than the other, it is going to matter so much more how much you can learn to deal with your opponent's particular brand of chicanery.
I love that spacing from Have a Nice Day, avoiding the spikes so we can set up the Katalina bot. Try to set up the bros, but there's that spike coming in once again. That's going to be one of the biggest issues that Have a Nice Day is going to have to deal with when it comes to this screen placement. But a perfect placement right there as we block out that reversal. For having Prada waste that 15 meter and get some damage on the board. But Prada, perfect teleport, going to be able to get this side swap, set up the traps in the corner, get the side swap as well. And that is going to be the kill, I believe. Into the super.
Prada with the pro tag energy on that one. Have a nice day, sending in the whole squad to deal with this threat. Prada just swings out, gets the advantage, gets the conversion, and takes the round anyway.
Yeah, Prada absolutely being a pace setter in that previous game. Have a nice day. Having to play according to how Prada felt like setting up these traps on the screen, determine the pace with these spikes like that, where you're not safe even if you think you're outside of her buttons.
Quite literally calculated on that one. I feel like Lowain can struggle a little bit in that particular interaction because he's trying to set up. Both of these characters are, in a way, set-up characters. It's just that Cag's, like, final end goal win condition revolves around those setups, whereas Lowain, it's the starter. And what ends up happening is Prada gets the hit and goes for that end game setup. Have a Nice Day gets hit and tries to go for the starter setup, and he just gets outclassed.
Have a nice day. Good block on the spikes. Sends out the bros. Unfortunately, not going to do too much as Prada avoids it. I love the usage of the air stalls from Prada, but Have a Nice Day doing a great job at starting to deal with these air stalls from Prada. Instead, trying to preempt any attempt to mix up their aerial momentum by setting up the Katalina bot to set up a very active set of projectiles, or just waiting and dash L-ing whenever they drop to the ground. Or 2H like that if you decide to teleport in front of Have a Nice Day's face. Perfect anti-air to position Have a Nice Day into a perfect position.
Now this is your win condition. Speaking of win conditions, but Prada breaks through it. The reversal. This is the second time we've seen these big side swaps coming out. The first time it took a game. This time it's just getting you started. Have a Nice Day may have that early round lead, but I'm getting a little bit scared in the long term.
How did that combo drop? Either way, Have a Nice Day is going to take it, whether you like it or not. Sets up the mix-up with the bros for the super, and we somehow managed to hit Prada as Prada tried to roll out. And that is going to be the second game going to Have a Nice Day, as now we're sitting at a 1-1 like we were talking about before with all these final games, final rounds. I think this is what we're going to be seeing here as we're in that first to three territory.
That looked like pure reaction from Have a Nice Day as well. Seeing the roll and going for the hit in the aftermath, catching Prada trying to get through. However, speaking of catches, catching Lowain stuck in the corner. Have a Nice Day finally finding the jump out, the escape, getting you out of that scenario. Great mix up from Prada. Another cross up, but Have a Nice Day mashing on that wake up.
That is going to be it. Prada taking that round over Have a Nice Day. And this is such an interesting matchup because of how, Lowain wants to play lame, generally against most of the cats, where he sits at full screen and then just tosses out the pros, eats some food, sends out the Katalina bot, and then goes in when he feels like it. But when you're against a character like Cagliostro, you cannot allow Cagliostro to have space to set up these traps on the screen. You gotta be the one to engage instead of being the one that plays lane.
just saw some adaptations coming out from Havaniceday. Did end up getting hit by the calculator at the end, but the first one was able to backstep past it to start to get those setups going. Catbot not going to do anything because Prada just waits it out. The problem with waiting it out, though, is you're giving Havaniceday a free turn, which he takes happily, sending you into the corner, forcing Prada to go for a hard read. But again, with these side swaps, did you press a button?
You didn't. We're just gonna stroll you on over to the other side of the screen. You see that Havaniceday was attempting to try and react to another roll from Prada, but unfortunately was not able to do it in that situation. However, still picking up that combo at the end there to once again even things up. I feel like I'm gonna say that a lot because these players are so evenly matched right now.
It made sense. Prada went for 2 rolls with the exact same timing in a row off of that super, so predicting the third one was coming out, pretty reasonable there. Didn't end up working that time. That gives Prada the opportunity to get back into this, taking that crucial game lead, hopefully. However, Havaniceday might have something to say about it.
Counter from Prada being spent, holding the trap. Havaniceday not going to hold the trap though. All right, to the other side, and Havaniceday perfectly preempting the roll right there and pushing Prada into the corner. What a huge starter, what a huge conversion. Wilnas combo kill, no it won't, but Prada left on very little life, and unfortunately a single button like that is going to be sealing the job.
That spacing on the Brave counter, immaculate for Havaniceday, knowing exactly where to position his character to get the BC whiff punish. And now we've got a counter hit as well to get started. Havaniceday spacing has just been a notch above in these last couple of rounds.
And that was just a happy accident there for Havaniceday. The bros covering Prada, trying to teleport out. Catbot going to hold Prada down for just a little bit. Brave counter being spent. Perfect mash out with the close L. And now Havaniceday bringing us back to that mid-screen space where he's showing to be so dominant.
Oh, the pressure is mounting. Oh my goodness. And the pressure has succeeded. Prada is dead. We are going potentially to a last round here. Prada needs to find the answer, needs to stop getting whiff punished in neutral.
Reversal coming out. There's the Catbot laser just to try and check Prada, but you know, Cagliostro just a little too short. So went right under. Tech into the reversal from Havaniceday. Eat some food in the process. Perfectly spacing that button from Prada.
Think about that last set when the Cag was on screen, how much work that far heavy was doing. This time around, it's scary for Prada to use it at all because Havaniceday is punishing it so consistently or just outspacing it. Finally, does get a hit on that far heavy. We can see why it comes out because of the massive conversion. But still, just the fact that that is such a threat against you is going to give Prada pause.
Sends out the pros, and it does connect with Prada. Eat some food in the process. Have a nice day. Getting a trade, but that's a trade we'll gladly take. But that is not going to be a hit that we want, as Prada goes for that committal anti-air, running up. I'm almost missing too, but normalizing it there with that Raging Strike.
Like that BC. Lowain in a pretty good spot there to get out to win the scrap. However, Prada just checking with those quick normals, not trying to overdo it, trying to catch Havaniceday overcommitting. What you have succeeded in, maybe not in damage though, is that those BC are running low.
That is true, but so is the same. But the same could be said here for Prada, as we only have one BC left. Have a nice day, not wanting to spend that last BC, but Prada more than willing to, as now we don't have any more of that defensive mechanic available. We still have access to a reversal with that 50-meter, but Have a Nice Day has a reversal of his own with that super to reestablish control here in mid-screen, sends out the throws to keep Prada pressured there and not let them get a chance to set those traps for free.
Prada with the resource advantage. Will that be enough? Spends it unsuccessfully. The answer is no, it is not enough. Have a nice day with the patience, recognizing that you were about to get to 50-meter, have the advantage on certain normal interactions, but Have a Nice Day just outskilled. And I see you getting a little excited because I know who's coming up on the screen next. We got a Vira versus a Narmaya. And I'll just go right ahead and ask you how you feel about this matchup as a Vira player.
How do I feel about this matchup? Honestly, it doesn't feel too bad. Even when she's not in her install form, she still has access to really good normals. You see that crouch M being used a lot. Her far L is quite good. Her dash L is quite good. Dash M, obviously, as well. So you can do a lot of just checking Narmaya when she tries to zone you out with her stance protector. Or you can even go straight into that install if Dragalia is choosing not to engage with you, as we're going to be seeing right here. And this is where the real bread and butter comes in with that recent patch, because a lot of her buttons kind of got the recovery decrease, and you'll see it most with that Darkane right there, where that last hit is like +4, has a little bit more pushback, but it still puts her into a really good position that she didn't have before.
Battle 2.
Yeah, being +2 on block, that becomes a bit of a turnstile for her in the current meta. And another thing that you're going to see a lot more of is Luminera setups, because Luminera now confirms into your install, which is going to be a huge consistency buff for the character in certain situations where she has struggled to get into the install in the past.
Yeah, really her main win con while she's in her regular form is just to get into that install state. Sometimes you don't have to because her buttons are still quite good, but when you're dealing with a character like Narmaya, even though your buttons are good, even though they can deal with some of Narmaya's options, like I was talking about before, unfortunately, they're not outranging Narmaya's buttons. So you have to be really smart with how you play neutral until you get into that install state where you can actually start the party, especially when you get those really big burst attack options, like we're talking about with Wilnas with knee. She kind of has her own knee with a 2-1-4
Well, let's see if that ends up coming out. Right now, I feel like it's just been the Dragalia show, playing with these aerial mix-ups that flip the cross-up, such a threat. And even the Setsune after you're already dead to finish the job, just to make sure.
And right now, Dragalia 1 game up, looking to take another game too. I wouldn't be surprised if CharChar switches to the Beelzebub or a different character if the Vira does not end up working out. However, this is looking a lot better now that we're actually able to get a real hit. Good back throw from Dragalia though. That's going to put them into a winning position, as now we have 100 mirror on deck. Throw though from CharChar, going to be the regular throw, not going to bank on the ultimate skill. Oh, tried to punish something, but not coming out. Instead, Dragalia trying to punish that super, but that recovered just a little too quick, and that is going to be death for you in the corner.
Man, just finally, the moment I was about to talk about has not been able to get that super, that win condition. The moment you do get that install, things change. If Dragalia had gotten that whiff punish, or not that whiff punish, that install activation punish rather, we might have seen a different outcome, but at the end of the day, didn't find it.
And that right there was that big change, that consistency buff with that being able to combo into your 5U to get that install. Unfortunately though, that was a brutal miss input for CharChar, probably trying to go for the EX Darkane, but instead came the DP instead. And now Dragalia should be able to just run away with the game with that.
What a dream here though. There is a shot. You've got install. We've seen this before, but unfortunately, that Setsune going to be just enough.
Okay, looks like we're committing to that Vira. Let's see if we'll end up working out. Dragalia is making quick work of CharChar in those previous rounds, though that last round looked a little spooky there for Dragalia. Once again, I think that was a misinput on that DP, instead trying to go for the regular Darkane. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we're going for a big brain play, but unfortunately, that big brain play is not paying off. And now Dragalia and CharChar are at an even footing, I would say, here in this round.
Great defense from Dragalia. However, once again, unable to punish the install, as CharChar finally gets in, finally gets that pressure string started, the punish coming out as well. Narmaya is Dragalia swinging desperately, trying to get the advantage, but CharChar keeping up the pressure, keeping up the plus frames. So many things to think about right now, and that might be enough if you get the conversion, and it looks like CharChar does.
Oh, it absolutely is. Once Vira gets install state, she can get so much damage on the board, more than most other characters in the cast. As you saw right there, hitting that U Darkane was an excellent starter.
It's funny that the buff to the character's consistency came in the conversions out of Luminera into super, and instead CharChar is just using it in neutral, and it's working.
Uh-oh, but this is really rough. Dragalia is just taking that round like that. Dragalia's combos are so clean, by the way. I don't think we've really highlighted that enough.
Battle 3.
Yes, absolutely. We saw it in the previous set, especially those consistent 50+ health bar percentage confirms.
Speaking of combos,
CharChar is answering back in kind, though. Has some good damage output even outside of install.
Okay, blade counter, unfortunately, not going to end up working out. All for naught. Throw coming through. JU, throw tech. CharChar using... Okay, yeah, now that right there is definitely punishable.
But didn't get a conversion off of it. Finally, we've seen that air stance coming out. That is something that CharChar does not use very often and doesn't really need it in that situation. Just a little bit of a timing mix-up to take the round, and I think it was a good idea to stick with the character.
I'm so happy, actually, that we're representing that air dash that she gets access to. She finally becomes an anime character when she has that install. And that air dash is super important in this matchup because, like you saw right there, it's able to just get over those giant stance specials. And also the fact that it can also be really tricky when it comes to changing her air momentum when she has you in the corner. So we saw before where we tried to anti-air CharChar, and instead we could have gone for that air dash, and that basically would have just gotten a free punish right there with like a JU falling down. But instead Dragalia, instead of the Narmaya, we're going to the Siegfried.
Yeah, loses one game and immediately gives up on the character entirely. Never to be seen again. It's all Siegfried from here on out. But yeah, it is interesting to see the swap after what looked like a pretty decent position in the set from Dragalia. Maybe not feeling like the trend was beneficial.
And Vira super is just so strong. The fact that you can also combo off the good jump over that fireball. That's one of the big things you gotta know how to deal with when you're playing the Siegfried matchup is how are you going to deal with that fireball? And Vira also has excellent tools when she has install to be able to get over those fireballs. Great spot dodge in the Luminaria, that punish too. Can we kill? No, not with this combo. We're gonna have one more situation.
And we're gonna get probably an Oki reset here. Wait. Okay. We were right, Say Jam. Everything's good. Unfortunately,
no way.
however, in the aftermath of that, the wrong person died. Wait a second. I started to look to the next round and then realized, actually, Dragalia found the DP to get out of that setup and took the round.
Yeah, just single DP. You know, we throw rock all the time. We're fighting game players. Okay, that was an
Nothing beats rock. Frame zero options all day, every day.
Command grab coming in. I think that was the first command grab we just landed raw in this set.
Yeah, that hasn't really been a factor. You know what has been more and more of a factor, though, is this install. Siegfried does not have the ability to prevent CharChar from pulling that out as consistently. Can't rush the character down, can't create threats in neutral if CharChar just backs off and installs.
You're gonna be really careful, though, if you're Dragalia, though, because CharChar has access to one of the strongest... Wait, who won? Oh, okay, Dragalia took that one.
I mean, it was Fundies. Again, Fundies keep winning the day.
Absolutely.
Now
but
we are
looks
getting
like
into Ladewaybac versus Wing.
Away. Yeah, throwing them away for a little bit here as Ladewaybac is pulling up with the 2B who can kind of just skip neutral a lot of times with her giant buttons and her excellent specials like her chain, like her lasers. And that's going to be a bit of a problem for Galleon if she's trying to set up those zones.
Yeah, we don't believe in whiff punishing around here. If you get whiff punished too often and it's frustrating you, just play 2B. You whiff punish the whiff punish, calculated. We'll see how this goes. This is going to be an interesting matchup. This feels like a broken record situation, but it's another game of like, don't get corner pressured because you might just die on both sides of this.
Yeah, and
I do think 2B is very strong in the neutral here.
Yeah, isn't she always? But yeah, especially against Galleon.
Yeah, fair. That's a good point.
Okay, big throw there for Wing, though.
Was the first to create corner pressure.
Oh, and that hurts so much. There's a throw. Just consistently getting this resets here against Ladewaybac. Keep your hands on the steering wheel when you're getting comboed. You never know when that throw is coming in. All right, air button from the other side. 2 techs from Wing. Still pressing our buttons though. Far L.
Both sides.
Looking good.
And it was 1 in the neutral in the end, of course. Wing able to find a way to just get that little bit of final damage now. It was getting scary. Both players had full meter. There was a lot of damage to be had, but it was all left on the table. However, this time around, we'll see if it's going to be more of the same. Good start from Ladewaybac, getting the reads, getting that counter. But Wing just check. Look at these checks in neutral. Just get off me. It's my turn.
Yeah, this is what Wing has absolutely excelled at, and even playing against 2B, it certainly is no different. Once we're in that far L range, Ladewaybac has to be very careful when it comes to trying to pressure reset because Wing is so willing to check him.
Now, one thing I imagine we're going to be seeing a little bit less of this time around is the gravity from Ladewaybac. It was a pretty potent option in the last set on stream, but up against Galleon, I don't think you want her that close to you.
No, definitely not.
Ooh,
especially when you see that you can just get thrown like that. Wing takes the first game. And yeah,
I feel like that command throw, if you were looking at how much damage moves should do, that one's gotta be top tier, right? Like that move does damage IRL.
It really does.
Like getting slapped in the face hurts. Girl's got like 10 tons of solid rock clapping against you, and you are caught in the middle, ice cream sandwich style. And by the end of it, you might be about the same consistency too. Speaking of consistency, Wing consistent with these neutral confirms, putting you into the corner. Ladewaybac though, side switching the side switch, getting an opportunity. Can you take this all the way with the reset?
You will see Ladewaybac spends the Skybound art to get the lead, and with the throw, that will be just enough damage to push us over that finish line.
Well, Chad has a good point. I think we might be on a 100% command grab success rate at the moment. Absolutely insane from Wing. The soul reads to create these situations. Oh, and Ladewaybac with the whisk. And you're gonna get whiff punished for that one.
Yeah, I think you're right, but I'll say I think there's some that whiff before, but those are more so like spacing issues rather than actual Wing trying to throw them in the pressure sequence. Here we go, the Ladewaybac. Speaking of pressure, look at the damage that we were mounting up on a Wing. Backing up, just poking out.
And look how comfy that skill gauge is too. The new patch. You have so much to work with, and using just about all of it to create this final situation. One more chance. Wing presses a button, goes for the dive, and Ladewaybac just walks slightly backwards.
Okay, but now we're evened up. We're sitting at that 1-1. Still first to 3 though, so we still have plenty of time to adapt and take the lead back. Here we go. Who's going to win game number 3? We'll see. Looking pretty even at the start of this round, though. Wing, though, has that court position. Spends the meter on the throw yet again. The success rate is off the charts. Let me tell you. Zone is set up. Ladewaybac wanting to deal with none of it, though, as they're jumping out, trying to establish some pressure from the air, but Wing playing very patient that time around and only contesting with Ladewaybac once they put their feet on the ground.
This is looking pretty tough for Ladewaybac in the corner. This is the ideal scenario, but the setup gets called out. You're gonna put the rocks below my feet. I'm gonna get out of the corner, and that is exactly what Ladewaybac does. We're back in this situation, and once again, it's Wing with the simple checks in neutral, finding the gaps in the pressure swings. 2B may have a lot of potency at the mid-range, but when you get up close, that frame data is not as good as some other characters, and Wing knows exactly where those frames fall short.
Especially when you're in that close L range. A lot of times you can kind of just press it and it will punish, especially when we look for those committal buttons like that. 2 techs in a row and Wing is still going to press. Hammer coming through. Actually, the first time we saw that hammer come out, unfortunately, it's not really going to be doing too much more as Wing is going to be pushing Ladewaybac out of that range. There's the throw once again. No, we do not react to these. DP attempt,
Those
and it might
old
be
man
wrapped.
allegations not working out too well for Ladewaybac, who is taking the brunt of this combo damage. One more chance in the corner. Nope, you got
Hey,
hit.
Winston, you ever played Ocarina of Time?
I have.
You know the boss Bongo Bongo? You know, Wing, you know, Galleon kind of reminds me of that boss because if you remember, that boss is very feast or famine. He either kills you in like 2 seconds or you kill him in 2 seconds. And that's kind of how it feels as Galleon, where like she gets these big throws and suddenly she's doing so much damage for no reason. Like, why does Bongo Bongo do as much damage as he does? That's how I'm feeling right now.
And you know what? The hand size is about right.
Yeah, it's pretty accurate.
Man, old Nintendo games and giant hand bosses, name a better combo. Well, maybe Wing's
always
combo
so
or
good.
Ladewayback's combo right now.
Yeah, we're talking about killing the other, killing Bongo Bongo in 2 seconds. That's exactly what Ladewaybac is doing right here with that combo, but we still need to find one more hit to secure the win, and that is exactly what we're going to find there with the 5L. Ladewaybac going to be getting a round in return, trying to take us to a 2-2. Are we going to be seeing a game 5 yet again?
Well, we'll have to see how this one goes. That was a bit of a famine round. Let's hope that these guys have a Joseph to fill the grain silos, to live through it long enough to get back to that feast. Ladewaybac off to a good start in the neutral, looking a little bit more potent, not getting jab checked quite as often, and back in the corner, back into the setup, and the punish as well, the throw bait, resetting for one more Oki setup.
Black Hole, and you said that he would be too scared to use it, but instead utilizing it perfectly for that mix-up opportunity. Instead of letting Wing grapple him, he was the one that initiated the throw, and because of that was able to get that cross-up in return.
No fear. Saved it for the perfect moment there as well. I don't think Wing is really expecting to see much of that move either, and that's probably why it works so well. However, Wing, the feast might be coming back. The grain silo's full. However, Ladewaybac thieving, trying to steal that away, trying to get back to this neutral where he thrives.
We're going corner to corner. That punished? That punished the 5H? All right.
Over. It is so far from over. But the next corner pressure string could be it. Wing spending the BC, opting not to let that string go on any further. Great anti-air and great punish combo as well.
All right, back into the zone you go, but Ladewaybac being very cognizant of the boulder, except not the small boulder, as Wing is able to stop Ladewaybac in his tracks. There's a DP coming out, though, as Ladewaybac spends a little bit of meter in the process. 50 meters still on the table, though, but Wing being patient, recognizes the amount of meter that Ladewaybac has available, decides to block that one out, and now is going to be on a set point because of it.
There is so much to digest about what just happened. There could be a 10-minute video just evaluating the last 10 seconds of that round. The way Ladewaybac was privy to the jab checks from Wing and punished it, only for Wing to find the tiny little hole a second time, get the side switch, get the corner pressure, and now we are seeing more of that in the next round. Stowe Runaway wants to do it again, on the cusp of winning this set, going on loser's side, but Ladewaybac might have something to say about it.
And look at the reward Ladewaybac was able to secure off that first throw whiff that we've seen this set, but it may not even matter as the giant boulder comes tumbling down. No hard helmets in sight as Ladewaybac takes it all to the head.
This might be it. That extra 20% damage, but it doesn't come into effect because Wing uses the momentum that came off of those BP.
If you can, if you've been enjoying the show so far, if you've been enjoying the games y'all play, as we're getting into this next game between Nothing and Nyantic, instead of the Wilnas, we're bringing out the tried and tested Ladiva here for top 8.
Yeah, I'm noticing a bit of a trend in character preference. We do love those big bodies. I can understand not pulling out the new character this fresh, this deep into the bracket. Figuring it out in the pools, learning, building it up, seeing if it's going to be a long-term option. But then when you get to top 8, you're trying to win.
Yeah, we're fighting for $8.50 in the pot. Remember, y'all. And you can, of course, increase the size of that pot by hitting exclamation point Matcherito in the chat. Here we go. Nyantic already off to a great start. This is what Beatrix is known for. Starting that momentum and then keeping that momentum the entirety of the round. We just do not pull punches.
No, we do not. Beatrix is I think a kind of a scary matchup for Ladiva because Ladiva doesn't have a lot of options to get Beatrix off. However, the win condition's very clear. You're a grappler versus a rushdown. Just grab him.
Yeah, but meter is going to be
spacing
really
for you
here. Exactly for that defense game like you're talking about. 50 meter will get you access to the headbutt, which is a very important defensive tool for Ladiva, as well as being able to spend those bravery points as well. But unfortunately, that's wrapped for that round. Nyantic looking real good.
Battle 2.
Nothing did have some good answers, played some solid defense, stayed alive, using that high health of the character, using those big buttons to be a threat in neutral, and of course using that threat of the grab to keep Nyantic from getting too aggressive. You have to respect.
Honestly, like, Nyantic has kind of just held onto the gas pedal this entire time, especially with that DP, but that's going to be the perfect starter there for nothing as we get that counter hit starter, and we get that big super in the corner. Get that drop kick going in, and holy moly. Are we playing Wilnas still?
Good old-fashioned drop kick love right there, and look how this is turned around. The power of that advantage state that you have, that corner pressure. However, Nyantic finds the hole. Okay, we're good for now. Reset in the corner with that fireball. Goes for the throw bait, doesn't get it, nothing. Spending another BP. You got one back because of the super, so it made sense to spend it there. However, Nyantic, not deterred, wins the next neutral interaction and wins the game.
Character swap, though. Are we going to swap back to the Wilnas?
Are we going to see it? We're going to see the Wilnas? Come on, give it to me. Give me the Wilnas. Disregard everything I said, nothing. It's Wilnas time.
My hands are firmly clasped together. I am praying for the Wilnas to show up. If not the Wilnas, we'll see what other character nothing decides to play. But looks like that character selection has been made. Let's see what it is on the cap as we start to ready back up for this set. Nyantic still holding on to the Beatrix as per usual, as per the rules, but nothing. Going back to the Wilnas, back to the well.
Let's go.
And you know what? If you're going to play as aggressive as you are with Ladiva, might as well do it with that giant knee.
Battle 1.
I am so ready for this. Nothing, giving it the old college try with the Ladiva. It didn't work out, so I want some even bigger buttons. I want to explode you.
Yeah, and you know, if Ladiva was cause for attention from Nyantic on pressure, Wilnas certainly is call for attention on pressure here, as Nyantic cannot just ignore these giant buttons, these special moves that nothing can throw out at will.
Okay, well, it's a good start for nothing. That damage output is so scary. You have to win fewer interactions. Even then, big girl grappler herself. However, Nyantic has a very similar win condition. The difference being that nothing has some pretty strong options of his own in that corner. Ooh, scary clash.
The overhead connection, that's going to be a combo for nothing. Are we going to cash out on it with our SBA? Yes, we will. Why not? Spend the meter, gets the damage. Wait, is this the Common Rider kick super? No, it's not. That's a super Skybound art.
Ooh, that roundhouse just threatening, but great punish from Nyantic. Finding the close light.
Here's a super Skybound.
It's impressive that Nyantic was able to get close enough for that close light. Honestly, the spacing was fantastic there.
Tech. Pushing ourselves a little further away. Dash L. Can we kill? Oh, with a timer, we certainly can. That is going to be it. Nyantic using their last bravery point for that Raging Strike in the middle of the comp to extend it just a little bit further. Nyantic takes a round of their own, threatening that game 2 win.
It begs the question, does that mean that Nyantic has the download on the character swap? Or is this just a one-off? Is this the nature of Wilnas that sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't? This time around, it's seeming like you don't because Nyantic, once again, holding that pressure game. trying to set up for the close light. There you go. That close light has been the breadwinner for Nyantic. Being +4 on block is making it so hard for Nothing to get anything started because it is always Nyantic's turn with that immaculate spacing. No far lights to be seen.
Uppercut, knee attempt, but a reaction from Nyantic. Checks it with the DP. That's going to be the second game going to Nyantic. Are we going to swap characters, or are we going to stay on the Wilnas? It looks like we're going to be staying on the Wilnas for what could potentially be the final game of this set. Nyantic threatening a win, but Nothing holding on strong. And this is a fantastic start here. This is exactly what you want to see as Nothing.
That also means, because of counter picks, that you are locking in. You're saying, I'm going to play Wilnas for the rest of this set. Believes that this is the character to do it. Ooh, throw bait, but no punish.
Last chance to stay alive in the bracket. We're just keeping things simple. I like that right there. The close L. See what Nyantic is going to do. Poking and prodding and then reacting with that anti-air. 6-6L, finding our way in and going straight into the super. Not going to be the most, well, definitely is the most damage there because I was not looking at those bravery points. As Nyantic cleans up that round and places ourselves onto set point.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage. I don't care what you're doing. The 50% boost, terrifying. Nothing felt compelled to use those early and often. Things like the Brave counters just to get Nyantic's close light pressure off of you. Great jump in. This time around, hasn't needed them just yet. Let's see though, on the wake up. Yup, immediately it comes out.
This entire set has really just been emblematic of just how important it is to have a reversal against Wilnas. He can be as oppressive as he likes, but you still have to worry about the fact that there is that reversal threat if he tries to knee in. And Nyantic so far has been properly reacting to it every single time. Nothing tries to go for that option. And with no bravery points left, we have 100 meter. We can kill with a single good hit, by the way. But it's the matter of, can we find the hit with Nyantic's incredible defense? Knee in, but gets blocked.
That lack of BP is so scary.
That was
Anything will kill, and then some. Okay, we found it.
And that is going to be a win, going to Nyantic with a clean 3-0.
Setting up corner pressure, but the conversions, how much you're truly getting off of it with that combo damage, sometimes hasn't been enough for players to find their way to push forward in the bracket.
But now here we go. We're going back
Dragalia on the Lucilius. Okay. Is Dragalia just like spinning a spinner right now to see who to play?
I don't know, but I mean, to be fair, all the characters that Dragalia has shown so far are quite strong. And maybe there is some secret sauce to the Lucilius pick here.
We'll see. We're using the PS4 skin. I don't know what else to call it.
The EX colored PS4. I think the PlayStation skin is a perfect name for it, honestly. That's exactly what it is. Good blocks from Dragalia. Teleport in, and that is going to be the super from Havaniceday. And we're going to spot dodge all of this. Not going to take any of the chip damage.
Good start here for Havaniceday. Looking poised with the Lowain, dealing with the Lucilius pick very well, not having to worry about those stances, those command grabs, because you can, or I guess hit grabs, I should say, because you can just keep your offense going.
I think potentially the idea behind this Lucilius pick is to get past the zoning that Havaniceday wants to represent with the Catbot and the Bros. And you can just use the teleports and the dive kicks and teleport past it. That might be the idea, but honestly, I'm not terribly sure outside of just the excellent buttons that Lucilius has access to.
We're not doing great so far. I feel like Dragalia has just been struggling to get anything started. The neutral has been going Havanicedays way so much of the time. We're seeing the neutral skips, the teleports coming out, but Havaniceday has been so good on defense, spending the money as well in situations like that. Because he's been so good on defense, whenever he is unsure, he has enough meter built up to just break out, to say, no, it's my turn, go back to the corner.
But right now, it certainly is Dragalia's turn, even with low health, because we have level 5 on the blade meter. But can we utilize it here? Let's see. Chip damage is a real factor, and Havaniceday knows that, opting for the Brave counter and trying to approach with an advancing normal there, but unfortunately, it's not going to work out as Dragalia takes the win. What a comeback.
Wow. hardly any health left, and Dragalia just turned it up. Of course, an advantage there was that blade level 5 was on lock, going a long way to make the combo damage that much more threatening. But look how this is turned around, even with blade level 1. Havaniceday suddenly on the back foot in multiple interactions in a row. I think Dragalia figured some stuff out.
Oh, we tried to teleport in, but a little too slow as we got caught by the catbot rockets. Got hit by the low bro, and that's going to be a combo kill here for no. Actually, no, it dropped. Instead of going straight to the super, and then opened up with the low right there.
Slide right into those DMs, and this time around, I think Lowain might have found the right woman. We'll see how that transfers into the next game here. Havaniceday stealing away game number 1 after Dragalia looked like they had the answers, but just like that, it goes to show how important the adaptation is in a best of 5.
Honestly, I'm not even sure if Havaniceday really stole that game away because of how Dragalia stole that second round there. But either way, Dragalia seems to be pretty confident in the Lucilius pick, so it looks like he's going to be sticking with the character. And I think he really just likes the versatility of that far M, because we've been utilizing it quite a lot here against Havaniceday to outrange a lot of the best buttons that Havaniceday is trying to use, like far M.
Great catch there for Dragalia, and great conversion off of it as well on the Oki. Havaniceday getting pushed back, evening things up, but just like that, finds the opening, set up the catbot, and then just runs in, presses a button, and converts into another round.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Dragalia maybe trying to check that run-in from Havaniceday with a far L, but unfortunately a little too slow, so we got counter hit in the process. And now Dragalia down around in game number 2, and is now going to be going down a little bit of health as well, as Havaniceday is going to be establishing that corner position yet again. There's a throw coming in, and then we're going to be getting 100 mirror back pretty soon, so we could also see the potential of a super being popped just to keep Dragalia locked in the corner for a little bit longer.
Havaniceday really proving that Dragalia is going to struggle against these neutral skips regardless of whether they're real or not. The ability to just run in and press a button with such a fast character is so scary, and if you don't have the response, the reaction time, the recognition of what's coming, it gives Havaniceday 3 turns.
Destroying the catbot, no fear, super comes out. Will this connect? Yes, it will. The anti-air super comes out on the side of Dragalia, and that should be the round with no bravery points left in the tank.
All right, Dragalia, I see you.
Out. One more round, he can close this game out, and we'll see if Dragalia has it in them. Havaniceday, spends the bravery point going for the JL just to stay active in the air and potentially sub out any air-to-air approach from Dragalia like we saw right there. Once again, using that JL that we haven't really been representing a whole lot just to wall out Dragalia trying to jump out. I think another thing
I love that as well. It was so preemptive.
I think we're also using the JL to preemptively beat the dive kick as well.
Havaniceday is looking so good all of a sudden. A little bit back and forth. Dragalia clearly stealing rounds away, but it's a consistency game. I feel like Havaniceday is just so much more consistent. Dragalia is having to play high risk, high reward, and at certain situations it's working out, but in others, we're seeing what we just saw. You can only take the 1 round, whereas Havaniceday consistently taking the 2.
I think that's really what it is. We're able to secure some rounds here and there, but it feels like they're more of just like pretty lucky hits, as Havaniceday has been really consistent in neutral. We've been talking about it earlier. He's very fundamental based. He's very neutral based. And he's so consistent in that regard that even when he does drop a few rounds here and there, he still looks as strong as ever, as now he is 2-0. Force, threatening a win here in the set as one more game, and Havaniceday is out. Dragalia, though, looking to get into that winner side of Grand Finals instead as we swap to the Narmaya, the character that got us here.
Yeah, no surprises seeing the Narmaya coming out. This is the bread and butter. This character is so strong. Not to say that the Lucilius isn't, but definitely the character that Dragalia is most comfortable with, and we're already seeing that with these massive combos in the corner. Dragalia has not dropped those all day.
And honestly, I do think that in terms of the matchup, Lucilius is probably a little bit better than Narmaya. Not that this is a bad match for anything. I think this is still pretty decent for Narmaya. But This is just more like character familiarity here for Dragalia, where their Narmaya is just a little bit stronger, so that comes out on top over any matchup factors that might come in.
Flip attempt there from Dragalia gets punished. Not a whiff punish, but a punish to what comes next. That is where Havaniceday has been thriving. Sometimes you don't have the spacing for the whiff punish, but if you've got a read on your opponent's aggressive get off me options, that is where you can really turn the neutral around.
Oh my god, what a spot dodge in the check with the low 2M. Dragalia looking so clean with that, destroying the cat bot, also catching Havaniceday trying to run away.
It's a pretty good statement from Dragalia, showing that it was the character, not the player. Let's see what happens now that we're on the comfort pick, now that we're familiar with the matchup. Like you said, it's forcing Havaniceday to reevaluate, to change the way we're playing this neutral, to change the way we're doing these pressure strings even, because Dragalia is more than happy to wait for their turn and then just DP out.
Still a reverse 3-0 that Dragalia has to win, and Havaniceday is still in that advantageous position in terms of the set point score. Running away from the flip, good punish there as Dragalia is trying to press a button in response. Havaniceday backing up, playing around that brave counter space, and also playing around that DP space as well. We don't want to let Dragalia have a chance to get out of the corner, and Havaniceday is really hammering that point in as we go for the super, and somehow we were not blocking that low.
Found an opening, but wasn't able to find the kill. However, it is likely coming soon unless Dragalia finds an absolutely monumental comeback. Not quite Magic Pistol, but also doesn't come into play as Havaniceday gets the kill, gets the round, finally finding a crack in the Narmaya armor.
What I really like from Dragalia, though, is the fact that we're going for these long-reaching lows more often than I will say with our standing buttons. And the reason why is because a lot of movement from Havaniceday comes from running backwards. And that is susceptible to being beaten by lows because we're not going to be blocking when we're trying to escape. So Dragalia going for these advancing dash M's have been really effective. However, when you're in the corner and Havaniceday is the one setting the pace of this mid-screen situation, in this corner situation, there's not a lot you can do. Brave counter pushes away the cat block, but you're not pushing away the right opponent right there. The U flip coming through, but unfortunately getting smoked by the bros. And that is going to be the win. Going to Havaniceday. Not a grappler playstyle, but maybe a bit more, I don't know, bruiser. I don't know. There's a lot of ways you can take it. My mind is
yeah, there are a lot of ways.
Believe in victory.
I like that this gets us thinking. There's so much to talk about there, but we're gonna have to table it probably for the rest of this bracket. We'll take it to Twitter afterwards. Y'all saw our Twitters on the screen if you want to talk to us. But for now, it is CharCharRealSmooth on the Vira versus Prada on the Cag. Losers semi-finals.
Dude, and while we were just talking over that start of this round has been crazy with the amount of different interactions that I don't think I've ever seen before. Like that 214M connecting with CharChar falling down from the teleport using preemptively to avoid the DP. And there's the backdash on the Raging Strike to get that whip punish against CharChar as Prada is going to be going up a round.
And what a fast round to start that out. That didn't even feel like 30 seconds, even though it technically was. So aggressive. Seeing Cag run in like this, preventing CharChar from getting anything set up. And honestly, I don't blame Prada. First of all, because clearly it's working, but also CharChar has been really good at being the obnoxious setup character in matchups where you don't think that that's the right option.
This is the most aggro Cag I think I've ever seen Prada or anyone else play. That was the most aggressive Cag I think I've seen. And what was interesting too is that CharChar was kind of catching on to that with that second round where the round start was that far L trying to check the dash L from Prada, but we slightly delayed it, and now CharChar instead going for that cancel, preemptively trying to punish Prada's option right there. Dash M into the corner here, sets up the fairy. Oh, but there's a teleport from the other side. That's going to be a nice combo there for Prada as we're able to be able to get that corner set up here. Roll through, teleport on the other side.
Man, this is insane levels of aggression. The side swaps as well. I don't care if I'm cornering myself because you are still minus. It is still my Oki. Hold these far heavies. I dare you to press a button and the collapse just poking out. The tiny little projectile slowly making its way across the screen. giving Prada another round.
Unfortunately for CharChar, I feel like we've not really had an opportunity to actually properly punish these teleports. But now that we have the install state, let's see if anything changes. There's going to be the 5L there from that 5U stance. Not going to be a lot, just getting that small knockdown, but CharChar is still able, Prada still able to move around the screen, set up those traps. Great usage of the Raging Chain, however, to push Prada into the corner. Brave counter gets baited. That Raging Strike gets spot dodged, though.
I don't think Prada is aware that it's possible to be minus in this game. I'm beginning to think that he just assumes that every button is always plus.
Act like you're plus anyways, but this time CharChar recovering just in the nick of time, using, I think that was the dash cancel off the Darkane to recover fast enough to actually punish that teleport. That was actually a really smart play from CharChar.
It was the moment you got your install as well. That is very clearly CharChar's win condition. We've seen that all day. Does not look super comfortable on base Vira in a lot of situations, but as soon as that install is unlocked, things completely swap all over the opponent, shutting down Prada in, honestly, a very impressive display of strike throw miss.
Oh, and this is such a scary position to be in. If you're CharChar, you don't have your install, you have 0 bravery points, you have 100 meter on deck, and we're going to use it to force that install and actually get a bit of a hit there on Prada, securing at least one of those bravery points away from Prada. I like that backdash in the air from the 5U to be out of range of that air button from Prada, and maybe CharChar's back in the game because of that hit from the super. We're able to get that bravery point back. Bravery points back from Prada.
What a great usage of teleport from Prada. Both of these players on no BP though. I know CharChar may be on Magic Pixel, but it doesn't matter because you're taking an extra 50% damage, and just like that, the entire health bar is gone.
That final interaction was an insane sequence right there because CharChar before is always... I love how CharChar is utilizing that dash cancel. We saw that dash cancel to properly punish Prada in the previous round, but then instead of going for the dash cancel, instead we're reacting to see what Prada is doing on defense, and then noticing that Prada was going for the teleport, instead not going for the dash cancel, and went for the final hit instead, which by the way is punishable if it's blocked, but in that case it was not.
It's all about risk reward, isn't it? Prada took a lot of risk and got most of the reward, but did not reap that final benefit. Double teleport coming out from Prada as well, really trying to give Vira a run for her money with this movement. You were seeing the teleports in the air as well to deal with Luminera. So many options, just making CharChar uncomfortable on this base Vira.
Ball being thrown back into Prada's court as we took that round here for game number 3, but CharChar still looking really strong, and there's that DP because of course we're a Vira player. We're going to DP on our minus frames. CharChar be able to get that 5U wrong just like that. Or sorry, that throw raw just like that. Try to step the 5U, but unfortunately Prada popped up into the air, so that wasn't going to work. However, CharChar still in a winning position as we go for the super. Does not get punished, and we're going to be hurrying right now. We have so much help to work with. Let's see what Prada has to do in response. There's a teleport bravery counter spent from CharChar. There's the anti-air on the DP attempt in the air, and that, I think that, no, not picking up with the DP. Okay.
Dude.
Yeah. So that combo didn't kill because we're like the edges of the DP. If we're close enough with that DP, that would have killed because we've gone the edge.
And the throw to finish it off as well. Just creating the threat of that, reminding Prada that he can't block forever, evening up the rounds. The games are even as well. This is a critical moment, going up that extra game. If a counter pick does come out, that could mean a lot, though, to be honest. I don't think it will. I think they've both got their win conditions, and it's just a matter of fighting for yours better than the opponent.
And I love how CharChar is playing with his plus frames. This is one of Vira's strongest suits, is just being able to play with plus frames and being like, okay, am I plus here, am I plus here, I'm going to go for a pressure reset here, because you can basically pressure reset off of any single one of her buttons, any of her specials, especially when she has her install state like that. Really well played to CharChar, be able to go, actually, I think, yeah, we're up now. We're up a game.
Yes. Yes, we are. How this has turned around. CharChar got the download in those corner pressure scenarios, catching DPs, catching jumps out of the corner. However, not catching that one, but still locked down. You got your hit, but it doesn't matter. It's still CharChar's turn. Desperately trying to swing out, finds an opening, back to neutral, but the install is here to play.
Yeah, there's really just no risk tied to that super because Prada has so far not been able to punish that super effectively, and it really is hard to.
This set is absolutely
8.
insane. Finally, we're seeing Prada backing up. Not playing that aggressive game anymore, just setting up the collapse, setting up little pokes here and there, trying to catch CharChar pressing a button.
That's dead. That's dead.
And I think you're dead.
I love the patience from CharChar right there, knowing when to pump the brakes. Because seeing that trap in the air like that, it's like, okay, you cannot engage with a 214H, a 214U. You cannot approach with a 5U air dash forward. You had to wait that one out until it was your opportunity to. So instead, just relying on these spot dodges to negate the chip damage that we take from the spikes was an excellent form of play from CharChar. But Prada starting to bring things back. Maybe we'll see. The momentum is in CharChar's favor as now we're on set point.
And that clash going in CharChar's favor as well. Setting up the super, there's the buffs right there, having the opportunity to do that without having to reset the neutral or take a gamble on it. This is where Prada has had to play super defensive, hasn't had good answers. The corner carry from CharChar, playing it slow, getting the full screen with punish as well. And taking the game. CharChar.
We stop CharChar in their tracks. I think we need to see a little bit more of that too. But interestingly enough, we're going to be seeing Dragalia swap characters yet again. No Narmaya, no Lucilius. Folks, it's Lancelot time.
Interesting. So this might be another case of, I'm going to see if I can make it work. I'm on winner's side. I just want to play funny characters.
Wait.
But as soon as you start to lose games, I suspect we're going to see a character swap.
Wait. I missed. When did the command grab happen?
Don't worry about it.
On your way out of the corner. Going to be getting a nice combo here. Should be able to get the knockdown. All right, there's the overhead. CharChar not blocking it. And that should be the round there for Dragalia. Great stuff. Showing what Lancelot.
Now, it is worth noting, Lancelot did get some changes on this most recent patch. I think the most notable thing is going to be the teleport range increases. We'll see if that becomes a big factor in this matchup, but things like the cross-ups are a little bit more consistent. The threat range is a little bit further, so that's something that CharChar is going to have to worry about if he goes for any setups with the Vira.
Perfect right there, perfectly answering that overhead approach from Dragalia. Flip to the other side, drop down to you, a classic from CharChar to steal that round away from Dragalia. And now that we're starting to represent the anti-airs in response to Dragalia's overhead Oki, Dragalia's going to play a little more careful, a little more reserved maybe, if CharChar is going to consistently go for this, or try to find some more options to actually blow those attempts up.
Great answer there from CharChar, finding a way through the fireball pressure there. The ult gonna come out this time around. A bit of a turn steal, a bit of a reaction there to CharChar pressing some buttons. Great throw in the corner, set up Luminera, set up the win cons if you get a chance, but no, BP back and forth, trying to get their advantage state. Dragalia needs to get out of the corner. CharChar needs to lock it down, and at the end of the day, it went CharChar's way because you got the corner and you got the install.
Dude, there's no way to punish that, man. The moment it pops out and like you're too far away, especially as Lancelot, even with your excellent movement, there's not a lot you can do to actually reestablish pressure on CharChar. And now CharChar having that install state for essentially free. I mean, I guess it costs 100 mirror, but we're going to be getting 100 mirror back pretty soon here. Brave counter being spent. Dragalia moving right in. Knows that CharChar is low on defensive moves here, but a throw perfectly timed catches Dragalia trying to mix CharChar up.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. And honestly, as we're seeing the character swap, I do kind of like the Lancelot pick though, because Lancelot is such a highly mobile character. You can actually extract yourself out of a lot of the plus frame situations that Vira starts to enforce off of something like the 214M. You saw that backdash come out, being such a great backdash, one of the best in the game, I think. It kind of just extracted himself from that plus frame situation where you didn't really have to worry about the pressure afterwards. And I really liked seeing that as Lancelot, but now instead we're going to go back to the well, go back to the Narmaya. Lancelot's not working, so we're going back to All Reliable.
Yeah, I like that Dragalia went to Old Reliable immediately rather than trying to make a character work that is clearly not the main, not even the secondary, just a character that he felt like playing, wanted to feel out for that first game. CharChar passing the skill check, creating the threat where now he has to try. So immediately the Narmaya comes out.
And we've seen this matchup before too. This is going to be... We hit the super. We do hit the super. Okay. That's going to be stealing a bravery point away from Dragalia. Sets up the fairy here in the corner, but a perfect poke out with the 2M. That's what Dragalia is so good at, is poking out with those lows that catch players not expecting that range in that speed. But yeah, we've seen this matchup before. I believe between Yozamitsu and CharChar earlier on. But right now, CharChar is looking a lot cleaner here.
I'm really impressed with a couple of interactions that keep happening in this set. It's happened with both characters that Dragalia has played. Dragalia has been very good at finding those running buttons right off of round start and getting the early hits. But every time that has happened, CharChar has immediately found reversals right after that and cornered Drag. Of course, in the end, it hasn't mattered because Drag just won the rounds anyway. But are we seeing another character swap?
Maybe, but yeah, that Vira, so you definitely had to be a lot more careful there. And I think that Narmaya was also a smart pick too, because having longer reach on your buttons means it's a lot easier to punish that super that CharChar was just slamming down whenever we had 100 meter and whenever we were like a semi-safe distance away. But instead, we're going to be going back to the low, well, not back to the Lowain, we're going to the Lowain. Okay, we'll see how this ends up working here.
All right, I'm down for it. I am a fan of trying the different character before your final game. So many players will fight for something tooth and nail, and then they get to the last game and they're like, do I try a swap? Do I not? And I feel like you're put into a much better situation in the last game if you pick a character knowing how your alternatives would have went.
Yeah, because also too is that once you get to that point, you're playing a completely different matchup that you have to relearn. So trying it beforehand instead of being locked into it for the rest of the set is important.
Oh, did you press again?
Ooh, spooky, spooky. What are we doing? Try to go from the low, but that gets spot dodge. Good blocks.
A lot of good rolls coming out against the Lowains today. I remember the days when people would just block and pray. We have evolved. As a species, we have evolved.
Out of all the players in this bracket, I really like how CharChar is probably the most consistent at checking people with throws when they get too close, especially when they try to dash forward, use teleports or rolls.
Going immediately for the flip, the side swap, putting in work for Dragalia, finding the opening, finding this first round, not going to get discouraged despite being in a very scary spot with that health. CharChar could have taken it if he just got a little bit more damage. One more light attack, but it wasn't quite meant to be.
Not at all. CharChar though stepping on the gas for the start of this round. Tries to send out the bros, but Dragalia also stepping on that gas, trying to escape that corner. That's one of the strongest.
Oh, great read from Dragalia, but no punish.
Blocks the rockets. Teleports, does not want to deal with the bros, and perfectly timed too. Because I remember last time we saw an interaction similar to this when we were watching Havaniceday on Winner's Side, where we tried to go for the flip to beat the bros, but we didn't time it correctly, so we got hit by the high bro and got interrupted in the process. But there's the god coming out, Iggy coming out. Let's play a minigame, y'all. And it looks like Dragalia failed the minigame check.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh no, Dragalia do not know how to play it.
You can't be failing those in big 2025. This is looking a little bit tough now. CharChar got the opportunity to come back into this and also a bit of a knowledge check, but Dragalia finds a way through. Side note, y'all, real quick aside, coming in during that game, shout out to Magi with the $120 direct contribution. Thank you so much. The comment being Galleon in top 8. I prayed for this, you and me both. I love some Galleon. Thank you so much, Magi, for putting some money in the pockets of these players who have worked so hard today.
And after that Mario Party game, they had 10 coins to fight for, but now it's $132 in the pot. Now we certainly have a fight on our hands. So CharChar going back to the Vira, we got to get the lion's share of this pot, y'all. We can't just let that 132 go to the wayside as we go into what potentially be the final game, as Dragalia is the one holding a firm grasp on the set after the Narmaya swap.
Yeah, I think this is the right call. And like now you know the Lowain wasn't going to work, so you're not going into this match wondering, am I even playing the right character? You know this is the one, you know you've just got to get good. And that is exactly what CharChar is doing with the earliest of installs. So much health, so much round to work with, and so much corner pressure as well.
What an insane combo. Utilizing those fairies perfectly to lengthen that combo limit to bring Dragalia to the corner. But now it's Dragalia's time to show off their combos. There's a bravery point being spent to push them away. The fairy finds a hit, but unfortunately no combo. However, that DP there will finish the job to end that combo.
Battle 2. Engage.
Ooh, instant dash backs from both players. But again, Dragalia is so good at being the first to hit a button and keeps finding the timings just right to get the punishes, gets the conversion. We are back in this.
Yeah, Dragalia is so good at knowing when to push on the gas and then release the gas as well. And checking CharChar for trying to set up these fairies that are, like, once the fairies get set up, you can see CharChar just completely run away with the game. But now we're going to go for this super instead, which is a little surprising to see. Maybe because we want to go for the damage with the super Skybound art and steal away to those bravery points. But I feel like we could have potentially went for that install super instead to steal bravery point and also take Dragalia further to the corner. But either way, Dragalia looking in a position to win here unless CharChar can somehow find a lucky hit.
Oh. I feel like the idea was, you mentioned taking away that BP, right? I'm going to get a 50% damage bonus. So all I need to do is guess right on the Oki, or if I don't, find one neutral poke, and the next combo should kill. Unfortunately, being outside of that super, it was harder to do. The risk reward did not pay off. I think the calculation was reasonable, but Dragalia just managed to outplay.
Yeah, but it's so hard too, because like Narmaya can... No, you're playing at Narmaya's range, and unfortunately with Vira, if you're poking at the full length of your normals, you're not always going to be getting the maximum damage, especially when you don't have that install active. But speaking of install, that is on the table here, folks, for CharChar. There's the throw, not going to be a back throw, unfortunately, though. So Dragalia, okay, we're going to go for the air dash instead to get to the other side. Dragalia is spending that bravery point, and I love the U-Darkane to beat that option from Dragalia.
Yeah, that worked out pretty well. I suspect CharChar was trying to do a back throw and just messed up the input.
Yeah, that's
but we're going to game 5 regardless. Backdash from CharChar for finally not going to get punished. Throw breaks as well in the neutral, and we are boxing like cats.
I like that we're starting to represent some of those JLs too, just in case Dragalia tries to jump those fairies. Unfortunately, did not pay off for CharChar, as Dragalia is going to be maintaining the lead yet again. And that's kind of the story of this set, is basically Dragalia gets the lead and then CharChar gets install and then tries to take the game away right there. But it looks like Dragalia might be the one taking it, as CharChar is looking low on resources, has 100 meter on the table, but the question is, where are we going to be able to spend it? Might be here.
Yeah, we saw exactly why CharChar is scared to spend it there. Those ultimate skills coming out from Dragalia trying to catch, but you pressed a button once again. This time around, it does not find purchase. I feel like that was another case of trying to steal the round away. The same calculation, you get that one hit, then you get the Oki confirm, and you win the round.
And Dragalia knows too, because Dragalia, you can see right there, noticed that CharChar had 100 meter. I think we're not really worried about the super Skybound art in that situation. We were more worried about the potential for the install super instead. And so we're playing very reserved, just doing close L, delay, seeing what CharChar was going to do. But we don't have to see what CharChar is doing anymore, as Dragalia shows us what a combo Narmaya can do. And that's going to be the set for Dragalia, moving up back to the winners, not back up to winner's side, back up to grand finals for some actual money here. So let's make sure it counts. But still though, with a reset on the line, reset here being potential possibility, Dragalia has to work a lot harder here against Havaniceday if you want to take this set. But this is a fantastic way to start off this grand finals, as Dragalia is already putting Havaniceday into the corner and stuffing out a lot of Havaniceday's options, forcing these cooldowns without any reward for Havaniceday.
Yeah, definitely putting in the work so far. We'll see how far that goes though. And what a statement from Dragalia to take that round with nothing but a couple lights worth of chip damage on his side. Can you do it again? Havaniceday already taken more damage than the last round.
absolutely. What an air throw too. All right. But unfortunately, as Havaniceday tries to jump to the other side, Dragalia gets that anti-air to push Havaniceday into the corner instead. Reversal comes out, but has to spin the 50-meter in the process, so is not going to have access to that any longer. Has to run away, though, to make sure that we're not being threatened by those 2 M's that Dragalia has been consistently representing this set.
I like that from Havaniceday. Use the BC to get out of that situation. However, he does not get out of that situation in the end because Dragalia is so good at resetting the neutral. In these scraps, that is where Dragalia has been so consistent. It doesn't matter what the initial interaction is, it's how you reset.
Counter, and that's going to be it there as Havaniceday stuffs that approach from Dragalia, taking another round on his side. Here we go. Who's going to take this first game? Dragalia, once again, pushing down on the gas, does not want to let Havaniceday have an opportunity to create that space between them.
Havaniceday, rather than boxing, chose to corner himself, but got away with it. Had just enough space left to fight back. Back and forth are we right now, and even on rounds, who's going to take this first game? It could go either way as the neutral is back online.
Great throw for Dragalia. That's going to be the knockdown that I think we're looking for. Tries to go for the flip. Havaniceday blocking that one out. Bot dodge. Okay, we don't have 50 meter to cash out on this combo though. We will be getting it right here, but I don't think we're looking to spend it just yet. Wanting to hold on to it, maybe potential for 100 meter for the pyramid.
We'll see if that ends up coming out. We are close, but we have no cigar. If you're gonna use it, this is the moment. Opts not to. Instead, we're using Raging Chain extensions, and I can see why, because it was just enough. Fantastic meter management. 2% left for Havaniceday, but that was all he needed.
Jumped out of my seat with that close L on wake up. I was like, he's surely going to go for the pyramid scheme here. But no, he went for the close L, mashing it like a madman. And it worked out in dividends there for Havaniceday. And he cashes out on it, takes the first game of the set. And that is the way you want to start it, to hopefully deny a potential reset here for Dragalia. 100 meter being built up for Havaniceday, though. Super Skybound art is on the table. Definitely not going to want to use it, though. Just use it for the 50 meter, get that knockdown, eat some food, set up the bot, set up the bros. Here we go. We have Dragalia in the corner.
There's the bro setup. There's the bot setup. Exactly what you were talking about. But Dragalia using the classics. I don't need setups when I've got EX Setsune, Ultimate Setsune. And oh my goodness, Havaniceday. How'd you find a way through that?
Dude, we saw this in the previous as with Havaniceday, and that was like perfect. Like perfectly timed that spot dodge, stuffing that approach. Really clean stuff from Havaniceday. And it shows that sometimes you gotta be really careful of trying to autopilot these advancing specials.
Oh, that is not safe, my guy. And Dragalia is not going to let you forget it. Trying so hard to get on the board. And this is a good way to do so. Do you dare press a button again? Yes, you do, but you shouldn't have. That might have been the close light coming out. It worked last time. Does not work this time as Dragalia gets on the board. Does not yet have a game, and that is where Havaniceday is going to try to shut this down before it gets too late.
And there it is. Great spacing on that round start. Running away just to create a little bit of distance, knowing those sword normals, those potential sword normals could whiff. Dash L came out, and then we punished with the Dash L bro. Good stuff to Havaniceday for playing that RPS game from round start like that. And when you can win those first interactions, you just run away with a lot of momentum here as Lowain, because you can create that space immediately, set up our traps, set up our food, and then we can start partying. But right now, Dragalia is the one that is in the driver's seat, and we're not going to be letting you out of this ride. That is this Narmaya combo. Skybound art coming through. Not enough to kill, however, but Havaniceday once again put into a difficult position. And now we're calling up to God, praying to see if he can save us. Let's play this Mario Party minigame.
This is the check, right? And you fail. And you fail. Surely a third time, right? Okay, we got away with it. Honestly, not too bad. The Mario Party minigame didn't get first place, but maybe second or third. Not gonna lose too many coins on that, but you might lose this round as Havaniceday with the strike throw, the tick setup, and manages to find the chip out as well.
So crazy.
The waifu buff, just enough.
because if we just didn't jump those fireballs, we wouldn't have been in a chip kill range like that.
I wonder if it was a confidence thing from Dragalia thinking, look, I'm not 100% sure I can get these spot dodge timings, but I know I can take the chip damage and I have the health to work with. The problem was Havaniceday proved that you didn't have the health to work with and stole away what should have been Dragalia's chance to get on the board, but here we are.
I love that Dragalia was on that second layer too. We saw it before. Have a nice day. Did the spot dodge on the U sword, and then Dragalia, instead of going for the dash follow-up, instead went for one of their big buttons to punish Have a Nice Day for trying to spot dodge it from that range. Perfectly played.
Dragalia keeps looking so good in these early rounds. Looking like if you just showed me this game, I would assume that this was a 3-0 from Dragalia, but Have a Nice Day is finding ways to eke back into it. Every once in a while, there's a big opener and a big conversion is always on the back of it. That's been a big factor. Have a Nice Day's conversions have been next level.
Right, and Lowain is such a huge comeback character too, right? Because we have so many free outs with our supers, and we also have access to, you know, when we finally create that space, then you can start eating the food, recovering some of that health, recovering some of that meter, and then you can continue to bully your opponent, lock them down, and hopefully, like, even, like, force chip out situations in ways that other characters can't.
Oh, good start again from Dragalia. Well, we've seen this so many times before. You're finally on the board. Maybe you finally have that confidence as well. But the problem with confidence is sometimes it becomes hubris, and that is where Have a Nice Day is going to take advantage. The delay tech forcing out the brave counter, which Have a Nice Day was ready for. You're running out of options. You're running low on meter, and Have a Nice Day is trying to play that game of attrition.
Sends out the U bros, and there's the cat bot. Continue to hold Dragalia down on Oki. What a counter hit here for Have a Nice Day. We're not going to convert it with the Raging Strike, but the pros find their mark, and Have a Nice Day is now on tournament point. Dragalia is getting these rounds. Dragalia is getting these hits, but we can't close it out.
What did we say? It's the conversions. Have a Nice Day gets the hit and always converts. Dragalia is so good at finding neutral wins, but we need more. We need to prove that we are a closer, and that is what Dragalia has been struggling to do. Have a Nice Day, once again, has the pressure advantage, and this time, there is more than just physical pressure, there is mental pressure. Dragalia knows this is my last chance, playing so safe, going for the dash back, but Have a Nice Day, pressed a button, gets punished for it. This is so bad for Dragalia as the bros come in and immediately get eviscerated.
AK Simmons breathing down Dragalia's back. Are you a dropper or a closer? And Have a Nice Day is hammering that point in. There's the throw coming in, eating some food. There's the pyramid scheme. Dragalia, you gotta block this out. But we're in the air, and Have a Nice Day with that takes it over Dragalia. A 3-1 finish, taking it here for TNS Granblue here this Saturday evening.